Greeting ministers of the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Pastor Larry Goodale. I am an adopted Tlingit Raven from Klawock, Alaska. The name that was given to me during a naming ceremony is Ak Tahini, which means believer. I've had the privilege of pastoring at All Tribes Christian Life Center now since December of 2019. But this isn't my first time, ministering cross-culturally. God has called us to reach natives, but here we also have Hispanics and other ethnic groups as part of our church. Mostly people who live here on the Yakima Indian Reservation. And today I wanted to, rather than doing a brief written version of it, I thought I would attempt, though I've been told I'm technologically impaired by my kids, to do this YouTube live thing. This is take 3, but you don't have to see the first 2 takes because I've deleted them. But I'm going to try to hopefully get my point across, what I would have said live. But I want to ask you a question. Have you ever gotten a strange letter before? Now, I know that's a rhetorical question because you're pastors. I'm sure that you have gotten a strange letter. One of the strangest ones I ever got was when I was pastoring in Cordova, Alaska, and it was around Christmas time, and I got this letter. Well, let me set I had been preaching, of course, the Christmas story, and I was talking about Joseph and kind of used my daughter as an illustration. I said, if my daughter came to me and said, "Dad, I've got good news, bad news. I mean, depending upon your perspective, which one is which, but I'm pregnant, but it's not what you think because I'm still a virgin." And I said this statement. I said, I would have a hard time believing this because in the history of the world, how many virgins have ever given birth? And I went, 0. I get a letter, very short and sweet, only about this long, and a little piece of paper, but nice and official. It came in through the post office, and it said, "You are not a medical doctor, and you are not familiar with female anatomy. You should not talk about things you don't know about." What do you do with a letter like that? Well, some letters you just throw away. That one I kind of put in a file because it was like a memorable letter. But today, what I wanted to share, thinking about living cross-culturally, and if you bear with me for a few minutes, I think this also ties into people who don't minister cross-culturally like I do. And in Acts chapter 15, James is talking, that they had been talking for a little bit at the council that was at meeting at Jerusalem. And he says in verse 19, therefore, of chapter 15, the book of Acts, says, therefore, it is my judgment that we do not trouble those who are turning to God from among the Gentiles, but that we write to them that they abstain from things contaminated by idols and from fornication and from what is strangled from blood. For Moses from ancient generations has in every city those who preach him, since he is read in the synagogues every Sabbath. Then it seemed good to the apostles and the elders with the whole church to choose men from among those that sent to Antioch with Paul and Barnabas, Judas called Barsabas and Silas, leading men among the brethren. And they sent this letter by them. I want you to picture that you're there and this letter is read. It wouldn't have been in an envelope like the one that I got was. And trust me, there's been other ones too. But picture, what would your response be getting this letter? And they sent this letter to them. The apostles and the brethren who are elders, to the brethren in Antioch and Syria and Cilicia, Syria.